Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today's video is the first part in this Figma tutorial series where we will be creating form component library using auto layouts, component properties and component variants. In case you find this video helpful, please do not forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. And without further ado, let us dive into it. This is our to-do list, and we are going to start by first creating the text input type. And to do this, let's start by first creating the placeholder text. So I will do this by pressing the letter T on my keyboard to activate the text tool. I'm going to write placeholder. Okay, so after doing this, we need to definitely convert this to an auto layout. And to do this, I will just press Shift A on my keyboard to turn this to an auto layout. Now, as you can see, the auto layout has been added. I can give it left alignment and remove the padding, left and right padding, and then the top and bottom padding right here. Now, about the text itself, we can give the text this color. Let's look for something less prominent. 70 is good enough, and then the font size is good, the line height is good. Okay, the next thing we want to do is rename this to, let's call this placeholder text. Now the next we want to create is our cursor. So I'm going to press the letter L on the keyboard to activate our line tool, and then I can just drag this. Okay, I think this is good enough. Let's make this 18. Okay, now as you can see, this cursor is right in the auto layout. Alright, so let's quickly style this a little bit. Now, what color do you want our cursor to have? I'll just give it, let's pick this color to make it distinct a little bit. I'm going to rename this to cursor. And then lastly, what we can do here, because we want this cursor to be able to move around within the placeholder text, so what we just need to do is to give it absolute positioning right from this corner. Just click absolute position, and then now you can move the cursor around the text, as you can see here. Okay, now that's that. Okay, so we are done with this. So the next thing we want to do is to create our input field, and to do this we just need to again convert this to an auto layout by pressing Shift A. Now I've done that. I'm going to rename this to input field. Now let's quickly style this. Now before we go, let's just activate the stroke so that we can see what we are doing. So I'm going to add a stroke to this so that we can see clearly what we're doing. Right. Now, for this, we are going to put the alignment as top align, which is good. Top align is fine. And then the vertical resizing should be fixed, because we don't want it moving up and down. Okay, and then we have this one, it's fine. So the next thing we want to do is to change the corner radius to, let's say 8. And the direction, let's say horizontal direction, because we are going to be adding icons left and right to this particular field. Now we can just move this out. Okay, so now up next is the padding. Let's give this a padding of 16 pixels, and then the vertical padding to be, let's say, 12, which is okay. And then the border color, let's change it to something less prominent. Let's use this. Okay, good. Now the next thing we want to do is to add icons, the before and after icons to this field. Now I already have a placeholder icon right in my assets panel, so I'm just going to drag one of them right here into this space. Now this is an after icon. I can duplicate this to do the before, which is just perfect. Now the next thing we want to do here is we want to make sure this particular placeholder fills the container, the parent container, which is the input field. To do this, I have to just select this and come to the right hand side and then select horizontal resizing to the fill container. Now the reason why we are doing this is because we want to be able to adjust this thing, the size of this. That's the reason, so that our form is dynamic. Okay, one last thing we need to do is the placeholder text itself. We need to select it and also fill container. Perfect. Now that we're done with our input field, the next thing we want to do is to create our label. So I'm going to pick the text tool and write label. Let's say text label. And once again, I'm going to convert this to auto layout. It's always good to do this for us to be able to make feature changes, and then it will help us properly align our elements. So in case you want to add maybe an icon or whatever to this, or maybe of course optional text. Okay, so let's get rid of the horizontal and vertical padding, as we'll not be needing that. Okay, now the next thing we want to create is our validation message or helper text. I'll call this validation message. Okay, so let's quickly rename our layer. This is going to be validation. This is going to be label. Alright, now that we're done with this, let's select everything and then put it in an auto layout by pressing Shift A. Now that's done. Let's adjust the space between two. Let's give it 8, which is also good. For our validation message, let's bring the size down a little bit. The line height 16, and I'm going to give this 14 font size. Okay. All right. Now, again, like we did earlier, the text label should fill the container, and the validation message also should fill the container like this. Alright, so this way our tests can always, oh no, there's something wrong there. So basically we need to make this fill the container as well, that is why. Okay, so first I'm going to do fixed height for this, so that our form input is not, of course we will not expect any form input to increase in height, so we'll give it a fixed height. Then the next thing is to fill container, make it fill container this way. So we can now select everything here and drag. As you can see, it's responsive. Now, in order to solve this, what we can do right here is to make this text, the placeholder text, truncate. We can truncate it by coming right here and under resizing, I will select truncate text. So anytime I get to this level, the text just truncates, as you can see here. Okay, so now that we've done all of this, the next thing for us to do, but before I go into that, let's quickly take down the opacity of this icon placeholder by pressing 4 on the keyboard to give it a 40% opacity. 4 on the keyboard, 40% opacity. Now the next thing I want to do is to convert this to a component. Now we're going to be making this a base component, right? And in order to do that, I just need to come in here, rename it, start with a dot. I can call this base. I can call it base. Yeah. Okay. Now the reason why we do this is because we want to be able to make global changes to our components variants in the future, because of course we're going to have a whole lot of components. The next thing we want to do is to start creating properties, component properties. Okay, so let me start with the icons. I know definitely that I will need to swap these icons or change this icon, or rather replace this icon. So what I can do here is to select this icon and come in here and create a swap instance property. I'm going to call this swap icon right. And then this also, I'm going to create swap icon property, swap instance property. I'm going to call this swap icon. Oh, this is supposed to be right. Swap icon right. So let's quickly rename this to left. So I'll right click on this to rename it. Go to property and I can change this to left. Okay. Now another thing is we want to be able to toggle on and off this icon. We want to be able to determine whether we want to show icon or not. So in order to do this, we just need to select this icon placeholder and then come to the layer and create a boolean property right from here. So I just need to label this show icon right, sorry, left. I'm going to make this false by default. Now as you can see, because we make it false by default, we can't see this anymore, right? Now the next one is the icon right. We are going to do the same thing. Go to the layer section and click on this little icon here to apply, to create a property, a boolean property. So I'll call this show icon right. Now the value will be set to false by default, and that is that. Now also, because I know that validation message is also a variable, it's not fixed. It can appear and it may or may not appear. So I need to also create a boolean property for this. So I'll come back to this space, select this and create property. So I'll call this show validation. That's fine. So by default, let me make it false. Good. Also, last but not the least, we have this placeholder, this icon, right? We want to be able to toggle the visibility of this cursor, right? So in order to do this, I just need to select the cursor. I need to select the cursor and then come in here, right here, and create this boolean property again. So I'll call this show cursor. Show cursor would be false by default. Create property. Now we have this. Right. Now that we have our base component created, which is the text inputs, let's see what it looks like in practice. So in order to see the effects of this, let us move this to the side. Let's duplicate it to one side, and then on the right hand side you can see all the different properties we've created. We can toggle on and off the left icon. We can do the same for the right icon. We can even swap icon right from here. So easy. And then we can show and hide the validation message as well. We can show cursor if we want to. Now this really makes our work very easy. The fact that we can combine all of these properties together makes it so easy, and it makes it clean on the canvas. Okay, so in the next video I will definitely be showing you how to create the other instances for different interactive states, and then also the other inputs type on our to-do list, which is password. So right here, let me just rule this out. Okay guys, if you find this tutorial helpful, kindly share among your friends and subscribe to my channel below. And don't forget to turn on the notification so that you don't miss out on the part 2. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.